Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're participating from. I'm super excited as always to have you joining us on today's episode of The Next Word. And I'm your host, Precious Uzems. And today is going to be so exciting because today we're going to be introducing a new series on Career Talk for the Young Mind, that's Introduction to Tech. I'm very excited, very, very excited because of who our special guest is. Someone who has about 10 years of experience in software engineering and mentoring young people. I'm excited to introduce to you our guest for today, Mr. Pascal Chidi.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's so good to have you on set with us. So kindly introduce yourself to us. We want to know you, want to meet you.
Oh, thank you very much, Precious, for that warm introduction. So my name is Chidi Pascal, and I have over a decade in years of experience in software engineering. And in the last 4 years, I've been in the banking and logistics industry where I help companies, to build tech solutions. And I've spent the last 8 months trying to help, young minds, mentor them in technology, from software engineering to designing. And so I've just been engaging in trying to help young people, including our viewers here, so to get their feet in tech and, because that is the current wave, so I'm trying to help them to see what they can do with their future.
Wow, yeah. Amazing. A lot of young people have a lot of questions, as regards their career.
Yeah.
And we live in a world that is changing fast.
Yeah.
Things are not like they were, let's say, in the 90s, or when you wake up, something new is there. When you wake up, something new is there. So,
yeah.
As young people, taking advantage of our environment and what is before us is very important in understanding what the future is. So, these young people have questions that we'd like to ask you, and then. So I'm going to start with the very first question. And the first question is, what job can I do if I don't know what I want to do? A young person is asking now, what job can I do if I do not know what to do? If I don't know what yet.
I think that's a very interesting question because with the experience I have right now, I can reflect to, some of the things that I think were relevant if I had them, would have, made a difference in my journey. And, one of the jobs I think any young person can do right now is anything related to marketing, right? Because even though you're going to get into tech, you're still going to market yourself. You will have to market yourself. So marketing is one of the skills that you will need regardless of the tech field you find yourself in. So you could try to see what you can sell. If you can work for someone, if you can learn marketing, just get into anything that has to do with marketing. That I would say that could be like the starting point for your tech career.
Wow, amazing. So I would say, so how does what I'm good at? Is it in my journey of marketing myself that I'll be able to discover what I'm good at, or how do I discover what I'm good at?
Okay, I think how you discover what you're good at is identifying anything or the thing that when you're doing, you don't get bored doing it.
Okay.
Those things that while doing them, even if it looks difficult or people may look at it like it's difficult, but you're still happy doing them. Exactly. So like you could not be paid for it, but you're excited doing it. So that would mean this is something you're interested in.
Wow. So that means I should follow my passion or just go for a job that pays well.
So that's a tricky question because but what I would say is go for where the money is, and when you get the money, then you can follow your passion.
So I should go for where the money is.
Exactly.
The money is important.
Exactly.
So now tell us, what is this tech jobs about? What is tech? What are these tech jobs about? What's tech? I'm a beginner. I don't know what tech is. I've been seeing it. People, they call them nerds or people. So tell me what is tech.
Okay, I would say tech is basically, everything that has to do with the digital space.
Okay.
So for marketing, to design, to software engineering, to managing products and all. So it just has to do with everything that involves the digital space. But identifying which area you now fall in is the key. But for some people, they have to try a couple of environments before they identify the one that is perfect for them. So, but tech in general is anything that has to do with the digital space.
So now there's a mentality or an ideology, will I say, that tech is only for those who can code. So that is like I'm looking for the right word that people
Misconception.
yes, like misconception that people always carry along that tech is for people that can code. If you cannot code, you're not into tech. So now please help us to demystify this misconception, whether it's only for those that can code or it's general. So what works?
Well, I think you're right because if I am to be called like to start again, I would probably not choose software engineering because I'm interested in design, right? So tech is basically not about code, just like I said, it's everything in the digital space.
Wow.
But code is the loudest because that is what that is like the backbone of most of the tech products you see. From the softwares you use, the applications, just the design alone doesn't make it work, right? So the code is like the foundation, it's like the backbone behind these things. Exactly. So that is why it is the loudest. And in addition to that, it's because of the money involved in it. I think that is where the larger part of the money in tech is coming from.
So now, as a beginner, I'm just starting out because so I'm just starting out, and starting out is not easy because not many employers want to get you on the job or get you to work with them because if you're just starting out, you get
zero experience.
So how do I get experience so that I can get you understand how do I get that experience as someone who's just starting out?
I would say the first, one of the things that will actually help you if you're starting out is if you get a mentor. But getting a mentor can be challenging. But aside of that, there are a couple of things you can do, like you learn, and learning. I would say you should start from the foundation, like the basics. I always tell people the basics are not basic. They are the foundation to things. So if you're going into design, you learn the basics of design, the psychology of design, the science of design. As it's not like trying to learn how to use these tools because anybody can use the tools, but the principle behind the tools, that's what makes it different. So I'll say, learn the basics of what you're about to go into because in the world of AI today, like AI could do simple things, but the ideas are what will stick with you. So you have to learn the basics. That's what will help you generate those ideas. And your mentor as well, someone who has experience, will guide you through that journey. There are some mistakes you will not do because you have someone that has experience.
Now, bringing that to mentorship, like having a mentor is so important. And some people might not actually have access to who they want to mentor them. You understand? So how do they go about getting a mentor, someone that can help them? Because someone who knows the road, and then someone who's able to give you sticks. Oh, don't take this turn because it takes away it takes wastage of time. It takes mentorship just saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot because the other person has experience that has helped him to achieve certain levels in his or her life. So now you're now leveraging on that opportunity that person has. You get how do I get a mentor to sponsor to coach or help me be what God has called me to be? So that
there's this Nigerian adage they say follow who know road. So that's interesting. I think for me, like I can't talk about my tech journey without talking about mentorship because it is one of the things, or I would say the thing, that helped me to where I am today. But then how to get a mentor can be challenging, especially for people with zero experience, like you said. But there is a way to go. Now, I always tell young people, when you're trying to get a mentor, don't meet someone who has experience and say, hey, can you be my mentor? Like that is the receipt for no mentorship, right? I always tell them, start by asking questions. Meet someone that has the experience. You can ask questions on social media. You can, comment on their posts, ask them questions. If you have the opportunity to, get into their DM, you ask them questions. From those questions, you keep following up with more questions. But before you follow up, I always tell them the place of, gratitude. When you get a response to your question, you appreciate the person, then you ask the next question, right? So gratitude is, they say it opens
Opens doors.
doors,
Yeah,
right?
it
Yeah.
opens
So
with, yeah.
so you have to, appreciate them for their response, but don't get a response, and you come back for another question. You have to, let your mentor know that that response he gave you before, you were able to use it
Use
to
it.
achieve something,
Yeah.
right? Because they want to see that
What
what
is
they are giving you is
producing
impacting you
results?
exactly. So you should come back with results. For instance, I could come to you and ask you a question. The next time I'm coming, I could be like, oh, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the response the previous time. I've been able to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But then I have another
Another
question.
question.
You throw in your second question. So I think that's the way to go.
Yes, because gratitude actually wins the heart of any man.
Exactly.
So,
That's
and
right.
that's why even God will say, Thanksgiving, do Thanksgiving and all that. So,
Yeah.
when you thank someone for something that the person has done, it opens doors for other opportunities.
So, one of the most important criteria I think these young people need to, pay attention to is branding. It's something I didn't figure out in my journey. I had to, look into it. Because branding, it talks about the perception people would have about you. So even though you're learning, you need to start building, your personal brand. That is what will, help you to be marketable. Like
Yeah.
you could have the skill, but if you can't market yourself, you won't have any money. So you have to, pay attention to the perception you're creating about yourself
Yeah.
to the public.
Wow, amazing. Just to see that we just finished a series on branding where we talked about, identifying your niche, yourself and all that, introduction to branding. And then we highlighted some of these things are just highlighting about how these young people are supposed to put themselves out there, sell themselves, let people know what you're doing, let them know what you're about. Even if you're just, starting, and then you're just also highlighted on it's been a very important criteria as regards, being able to get jobs, being able to market yourself. So are there other criteria that they also have to look out for?
So the other one I would say is networking. There's this popular saying that if you want to go far, don't go alone.
Yeah.
So I would say you should, network with other people in your space. If you choose, to be in software engineering, network with other people. If you choose, design, network with other people. But don't network with people who are at the same level with you. Try to have people who are ahead of you because they are the ones you will be looking up to. Yeah.
Amazing. So you're saying branding and networking. So now, it just looks like tech is the future. We already know with the emergence of the AI, everything is going on and off. And so now, what skills are important for the future?
I think the most important skill for the future is just be a student. Because we are in a dynamic world, things are changing. You can't stick to one thing. What you're sticking to today will change tomorrow. Even with the AI that we have today, probably in the next 5 years, it's going to be something different.
Yes.
So you just have to, be a student and adapt to whatever change that comes. Don't try to resist the change, but adapt to it.
Because there's always an upgrade, so you have to keep upgrading yourself. That's
that's right.
where personal development also comes in, because it's better to keep upgrading yourself and not be obsolete. Some people just be, I've learned finish. There's nothing else I've learned. So the skill of being able to be flexible too, as you regard, whatever thing that you're actually involved in. So what are the do's and the don'ts for like tech jobs? Like the do's and don'ts for tech jobs?
So I would say one of the don'ts, which I've come to figure out is don't have a one size fits all CV.
Okay.
So what that means is, different companies have, what they are looking out for a candidate. So don't have a one size CV. Like you have a CV, that same CV is what you use to apply to every company. For example, you could see a company like, let's say, First Bank. What they may be interested in is someone that is good in communication. Okay. So and that is why you need to, look out for the company you're applying to. Like, go to their website, look out for, what they do and all of that. For instance, First Bank could be interested in communication. So if you identify that this is what, they are looking out for, this is what like their core values, then you
You tailor
speak
your CV. You
exactly
not say a cyber security person
correct.
when they ask that they want someone who knows how
Yeah,
to
that's right.
communicate, customer service and all that.
Mhm.
So
So in your CV, you could now talk about how communication helped you to do the things you're doing. So it's just look out for what these companies are what they care about, like their core values, because every company has a core value.
yeah.
Then you tailor your CV to that company.
So now you have talked about the don'ts. You have not said anything about the do's.
So they do. I would say is just keep upgrading yourself because there is a lot of money in tech. They do. I would say always keep looking at how you want to increase that figure.
Okay.
Yeah, you
So
identify where you are, and then you look at what do you need to
to
move to the
upgrade so
next
that
phase.
because it's ever changing and as it's ever
Yeah.
changing, the is ever increasing. The other part of it is ever
Yes,
increasing.
exactly,
So
exactly. And I think also this is where the marketing would come into the scene, because as you apply to these companies, they are going to pay you.
yeah,
Now, how much they will pay you is based on
the value they
negotiation.
think. Okay, the negotiation.
Exactly. You have the value, but you need to negotiate your value.
Okay.
For instance, I could tell you, oh, I'm going to pay you, 100,000 in a month. That is the price I place on your value. But you may think that you are worth more than that. So that is why you need to negotiate your value. If you don't negotiate your value, the company will tell you what they think you are worth.
Okay, amazing. So, what are the traits that can help you through your training and learning process as someone who's just starting out?
So some of the traits that could keep you on your journey.
As someone who's just starting out, because this is like we are still on the introduction into tech, and then sometimes like you can start. Some people can apply 1,000 jobs, nobody will
Yeah,
call you. So
yeah.
so what are those traits that can keep you going despite like, oh, we are trying, and then getting the response that you want and all that, or the feedback that you want, either from the companies or even from your mentor or from your environment, basically. So what are the traits that can keep you going in spite of the environment, in spite of the uncertainties? What are the traits that
So
keep
I would say you should look for something you can do while you're doing that. For example, as a software engineer, while in the process of looking for a job, I could pick up a personal project, and start working on, so just so that you stay relevant in the industry, and those projects as well will come through for you, because
as your portfolio, right?
exactly, they will now come as your portfolio.
Amazing. So just feed on something, bite on something,
Exactly.
do something. Don't just feel like I'm tired and there's
Yes,
nothing.
yes.
Do as many designs as you can as maybe as a product manager or whatever. Just do as much as you can, right? So now, can I switch careers if along the line I feel like I don't think I want to do this anymore, or if I made a mistake, or I think this part of it's overwhelming and all that. So can I switch careers and all that?
Definitely. You can switch, but that is the interesting thing about tech, because just like I said, it's everything that has to do with the digital space. And in the digital space, everything is connected. So you could start as a marketer today, and tomorrow you could switch into product management. You could be moved from product management and switch into software engineering. So everything is connected. So just have that idea that these things are connected. So whichever one you choose to start with, you can move to the next one.
Okay, so now how do I convince people who I'm responsible for, support my career choice? How do I convince them if they're like, because family sometimes they have some expectations that they expect from us, like okay, we want you to be this or do this or live in a certain way or have certain expectations, but then wanted to thrive in this particular field that is, although it's now the new trend, but some people, our families are not yet still aware of it. So how do I convince them as a young person that okay, this is what I want to do actually? So
So what I would say to that is you have to prove yourself. In the beginning, they may not believe in what you're doing, and you might not see the support. Well, you believe in yourself, and you have to prove to them. Because when the evidence is there, they can't turn you down anymore. So you just have to prove to them, and proving to them could mean long hours of learning, long hours of working on personal projects and all of that.
Amazing. So, um, can someone who's not good with school be good with tech? Could be good with tech jobs. Someone who's not good with school work per se, or university work, or something that has to, can person be good with tech jobs? Do you think?
So that's interesting, because I'm someone that's, I dropped out of school. So
Wow.
if maybe, somebody, listening to us today, it's like that, it's more of like you're speaking to,
Me.
to someone
Yeah.
that has been in your shoes. So
Wow.
you could decide to, drop. And the interesting thing is, it's not about what you learned in school or what you're writing. It's all about the information.
They are able to process
Exactly,
and
the
put to work.
information that you're able to put to work, because the internet is free doesn't mean it is cheap. You could go on the internet, you get a lot of information that
Yeah.
is free, and you can make money off those information. So you should not limit yourself, by the four walls of school. So that could be very limited. So if you're not good with school, it's getting the information on the internet is still schooling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what age is too late to start a tech career? Is there any age that's too late to start a tech career?
I don't think there's any age, because I have met someone who started at age 40, and he has been able to get, close to 3 decades of experience.
Wow.
And has written a book.
And he's 70 now. That's what it
Exactly.
means.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you will find people who, like they call in quotes, the OGs.
Yeah.
These are like people who probably maybe they start late,
Yeah,
and
but
they've been able to
Trans-
keep to it,
yeah,
move from one
and
space to the
transition,
other. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Like, so wow, 40, 30, that's 70. So it's not too late to start.
Now the interesting thing about that part is they may not necessarily be involved in writing code, but they are involved in
Programs around it.
exactly programs around it.
Maybe you writing content around the UX, UI,
Exactly.
UX, and all
Correct.
those things,
Yeah.
something like that, right? I'm also tech.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm also tech. What's the word?
Techie.
I'm also techie. Maybe I'm not wearing my glasses, but I'm also very techie.
Yeah.
So, how do I build a strong CV? Without experience. We talked about CV earlier. While we're talking. So, but how do I build a strong CV now without experience? Or like say you've answered the question, but still, I want to just throw more light, because you talked about tailoring your CV too. But how do I build it now? Just one or two words.
Okay. A lot of people will tell you tailor your CV, just like I said, but the details or the process on how to do it, is what maybe some people will not tell you, or they'll ask you to pay for it.
Yeah.
But what I would say is, you have to, whatever you're putting in your CV has to be quantifiable. What I mean by that is, let the reader be able to see the weight of what is there.
Measure. They're able to
Exactly.
measure. Okay. They're able to
Correct.
measure whatever is written
Is
there.
written in your
Okay.
CV. Why? Because the person reading your CV, for the most part, is going to be a human being.
Okay.
It's going to be a human being, and there are some words you would use that could convince that person. Now, this is aside from all the bots that could scan through CVs to eliminate like the ones who don't meet the description. But when your CV gets to a human being that is reviewing, there are certain words you use that can convince them. And speaking to quantifying the impact in your CV, for instance, you work on a project, don't just say, I built this website for XYZ business, but you can, put it in another form by saying that I built this website for business ABC, and they have been able to make $1 million in sales in 3 days.
Yeah.
Now,
show the value of the work that
exactly.
you're putting.
Focus more on the impact, the value of what
The
you
work.
did, and highlight the process.
Wow, amazing. So so talking about this, it will be nice if we also highlight on the fact that anytime we talk about tech jobs, you also have to include freelancing. You understand? So can you just tell us briefly about freelancing and how it actually works?
I would say freelancing, it's more about the flexibility of work.
Okay.
It doesn't change what you do or how you do it. It's just the flexibility of it.
Okay.
So like you could literally work from anywhere,
Anywhere.
right? So don't see freelancing like, oh, you're maybe going to be doing less of what you do, maybe as a software engineer, or there are some things you would not be doing. You are doing the same thing. It's just the flexibility that makes a difference. For the others they call 9 to 5, they go to the office.
Come
But
back.
freelancer you could work from anywhere. So it's just the flexibility, and you can like you could work from anywhere. Make different currencies. So the flexibility is what differentiates it.
Okay. Amazing. Wow. So now, for a lot of countries, like they call our country third world, but we're not third world because we are not our
Yeah.
countries in Africa. Basically, they always call us, but we're not third world. And then you see that there's high level of migration. Like a lot of people, they call it Japa in Nigeria. They say, I want to relocate to the abroad. I want to
Yeah.
relocate to the US, the UK, Canada. These are popular countries that you find people relocating to. And because of, you understand, some of these tech jobs, they want to work there and all that. So will you advise, what would you advise? Will you advise that, okay, is there any to Japa, or we should just stay where we are and work from here? So the floor is yours.
So I think there are advantages, and disadvantages of that. Because as a tech person, just like I said, you're always looking out for the best. You
Okay.
might start as a junior being paid 100,000, but you're looking out for.
But tech jobs, you're saying 100,000. I thought tech jobs should be
No,
like
I'm
in
just using
millions.
I'm just giving that as an example. That's
So
just
that
like
people
an
will not be like,
example.
what's 100,000? People will
Yeah.
not be, so you have to say that it's millions. So that people
Yeah.
will know that there is
That's
something
right.
inside it. I have
That's
to put
right.
in the work. Okay.
So you might start small, but then you're aiming for the big shots, right?
Yeah.
And now the interesting thing about it is, as you're aiming for the big one, location could be a limitation to you because, just like I said, freelancing, right? The flexibility of work. Now, you could meet a company in the US that is looking for what you do, but your location could be the limiting factor because some companies have the idea that when you're working remotely, you're not going to be effective.
Yeah.
So they want you to be in the office.
Maybe hybrid. They want you
Exactly.
come sometimes and then work
Yeah,
from
that's right.
sometimes.
So the process of you now coming to the US to work for them is going to be a lot. So
Yeah.
they rather look for someone who is in US to do the job.
And also too on that, I also want to add, because I also have a lot of friends who are also into this freelancing thing. Because sometimes those also in those countries will not want to pay because when you're there, they
Yeah.
pay very high,
Yeah.
and then they now outsource to other countries so that they don't pay as high as they would have paid for the service there.
Yeah.
So they will pay people who are from here lesser than what they would have paid someone who actually
Yeah, that's
lives
right.
in
Yeah.
that place.
So
Wow.
so I would say that you know if you can, you should, but don't. I would say don't try to break your bank just because you want to jackpot in quotes. You could literally there are a lot of Nigerian tech guys who have been able to work for foreign
Yes,
companies
companies.
while in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and they are comfortable doing that, right? Like you could literally get the kind of life you want to where you are working remotely.
Yeah. Amazing. So now, thank you so much. So, what advice would you have for someone who's just starting out? So, what's the advice that you want to give to someone who just because this is introduction to tech, like okay, I'm on zero level. I don't know I don't know how to maneuver or how to go. So, what advice would you give to someone like that?
Okay, I have three. The first one I would say is, you have to build confidence in knowing you are good at what you do.
Wow.
And so what that means is, you can be good in something, but you're not confident in it. So when you're confident, you could literally tell a company, oh, what you can accept as salary is 10 million naira, and you stick to that. And they will be able to see that you're confident with what you're saying, meaning you know what you're saying. So you have to build that confidence in knowing you're good at what you do. Then secondly, you have to build confidence in having a voice.
Yeah.
Because the tech space is more of influence. Influence, in what you do to companies, influence in what you do to people. So you have to build that confidence to influence other people. Then the last one is you need to have a voice.
Okay.
you need to have a voice, and that is going to help you because in this tech space, there's a certain level you will get to it. You will just be making money off your personality.
Wow.
Like you won't need to, to be writing code, to be doing the design and all of that. So your personality will now be the one to do the work for you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. Like, it has been so enlightening. And I'm sure our viewers have been so excited about
Yeah.
the things that you've shared with us. And right now, it has actually been very amazing, having you here in our studio.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say thank you so much for sharing such insight with us. And I'm sure our viewers, those who are watching us, will be, very impacted with everything that you've shared and will work with what you've shared with us. So on behalf of the Nextport team, I want to present this to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I
I'm very
appreciate it.
grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And on this note, we'd like to ask you to, say what you like for us to, maybe your final remarks that you want the viewers to.
Okay, to those listening to me and to us, what I would say is there is a lot of money in tech, and you have to be adaptable because that money still changes. So you could be doing something today and you're being paid a millionaire. When it changes, it could be 5 million naira tomorrow. So as the money changes, so is the work changing as well. So just be adaptable.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So you see, our series have been back to back hot. We spoke about money, we spoke about branding, and now we're talking about tech. Because we are here to ensure that you're positioned to fulfill God's dream for your life. Thank you so much for joining us in this particular episode. So next episode we're going to be talking about Introduction to Tech Remote Job Edition. Stay tuned. See you on our next episode. Bye.